Her first real job at 26, she did what responsible, financially aware adults are told to do. She walked into a financial advisor's office. The office was clean. The advisor was calm, confident, and reassuring. He spoke in polished language about diversification, risk management, and long-term growth. He showed her charts that moved steadily up and to the right. Everything looked safe. Everything looked professional. He explained that her money would be invested in carefully selected mutual funds, chosen by expert analysts who spent their entire careers studying the market. Martha felt relieved. She felt protected. She felt like her future was finally in capable hands. She set up automatic contributions of $500 per month and stopped thinking about it. That was the point after all. Trust the experts. Let them handle it. 20 years passed. At 46, Martha logged into her account for the first time in a long time. Over 2 decades, she had contributed a total of $120,000. Her account balance showed $287,000. At first glance, it seemed fine. She had more than doubled her money. It felt like proof that the system worked. Then her nephew, who had just graduated with a finance degree, asked her a simple question. "What are you paying in fees?" Martha didn't know. She had never asked. She had never been encouraged to ask. So they looked together. What they found made her sick. Between the 1% advisor fee, the average mutual fund expense ratio of about 0.8%, and several smaller charges buried deep in the fine print, Martha had been paying roughly 1.9% per year on her entire portfolio. That number sounded harmless, almost insignificant. It wasn't. Over 20 years, on a portfolio that grew to $287,000, Martha had paid approximately $73,000 in fees. If she had invested the same $120,000 into a simple, low-cost index fund with a 0.03% expense ratio and no advisor fee, her account would have grown to roughly $392,000. Martha didn't just lose $73,000 in fees. She lost over $100,000 in total wealth. That includes the returns those fees could have generated if they had remained invested. She paid more in fees than she contributed during her first decade of investing, and she never even knew it was happening. My name is InvestiX, and I've spent the last 3 years trying to understand why so many people like Martha quietly pay fortunes to an industry that often underperforms the simplest possible alternative. If you have money invested anywhere and you're not completely sure what you're paying, make sure you subscribe, because what I'm about to show you is how the investment industry engineered a system of hidden extractions so sophisticated that most people never realize they're being slowly drained. I call it the fee trap, and it may be costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Here's what makes investment fees so dangerous. They don't feel like payments. When you buy a car, the money leaves your hand and it hurts. When you pay rent, you see the number drop, but investment fees are invisible. They're silently deducted from returns you never see. Your statement shows a 7% gain, but it never shows that the market returned 8% and 1% vanished before reaching you. That loss never feels like a loss. It feels like normal investing. And that is by design. The industry learned long ago that people tolerate enormous fees when they're structured as percentages quietly deducted instead of bills loudly presented. Mutual fund expense ratios, sales loads, 12B1 marketing fees, advisory fees, layer upon layer of extraction, each one small enough to ignore. Together, devastating. And what do these fees buy you? According to the S&P Dow Jones SBIVA scorecard, over a 15-year period, approximately 92% of actively managed large-cap funds underperformed the S&P 500. You are paying more for worse results. Add a 1% advisory fee on top, and suddenly you're paying tens of thousands of dollars for guidance that statistically makes you poorer. Over a lifetime, a 2% fee difference compounds into hundreds of thousands of dollars lost, not because of bad markets, but because of structure. Take two investors. Same contributions, same market returns. One pays 2% in fees. The other pays 0.1%. After 40 years, the difference is roughly $700,000. Same discipline, same effort, completely different outcomes. The tragedy is that the damage is invisible until it's too late. Like a slow leak in a tire, you don't notice it while moving forward. You just end up stranded decades later, wondering what happened. The system isn't designed to make you wealthy. It's designed to quietly transfer your wealth to the industry year after year without triggering alarm. Martha trusted the experts, and it cost her over $100,000. She isn't an exception. She is the average outcome. You can keep feeding the machine, or you can choose simplicity, transparency, and